went with our kids.
Oh, you have 3 kids?
Yeah, we have 3 children, and we have very fond memories of it. Very, very fond memories of it. How have you been? Good. It's been great. Are we going in here?
It's going here.
Okay,
yes.
Great. There we go. Hello. There we go. Are you also came for dim sum?
Good morning,
Hello.
sir.
What's your name?
Linda from Minnesota.
Hi, Lynn. I'm going to get around this way, I think.
So before I officially introduce Mr. Charest in Markham, York Region, I just want to thank you, all my media friends, that in the past 2 years, you all have been worked really hard. I will see you as a frontline worker and as a school trustee in York Region, Markham, and always really thanks for all the media. We deliver the positive news and information to the parents and students in York Region. So thank you very much. And finally, we can see you face to face because government lifted the mandate. So this is the first time I see all my media friends with the Charest. That's fantastic. And Mr. Charest is not. You know, I know him from a long time ago. I think when I was still in high school, you were first elected.
You're just a kid.
You just elected in 1984.
84,
In the
first election. Yeah.
What you said, conservative.
Yes.
And you were actually youngest cabinet minister in 1986.
Exactly. 28.
Yeah. So I think, wow. And also in year 2000, I always see you on TV. Chinese media always have you on the coverage because the period of the Quebec. So good to see you again.
Thank you.
And welcome to York Region. Markham is the most diverse city in Canada. And enjoy dim sum in Markham. Thank you.
Thank you very much for hosting me. I'm impressed that we're attending the first in-person event in a long time, and it speaks to how challenging it has been for us in Canada in the last 2 years, and now the 3rd year of going into COVID. And this context speaks to the challenges that the country has and the choices that we have in this leadership race in the Conservative Party of Canada. And of course, I chose to run in this leadership race because of my very deep affection for this country. The story and the common thread of my whole political career has been about Canada. And whether the referendum in '95 or choosing to lead the Liberal Party of Quebec, which is a coalition party of federalists, to push back on another referendum and to allow the country to be able to bounce back and remain united. In this leadership race, there's a very important choice for Canada, and Canadians instinctively sense that choice. Either we will go down the road of American-style politics, division and attack dogs and polarization and wedge politics, or the Conservative Party of Canada is going to remain a national party, and very much a Canadian political party, which is what I stand for and what I want for my country. The other thing that people around us everywhere are saying, Mr. Tam, is that we need an adult in a room. Here we are in very, very serious times, even dangerous times, I think, with this war in Ukraine. And we have very high inflation in Canada. I don't know whether you saw the numbers this morning. Inflation is at a very high level, and that's eating into the wage growth of Canadians. And yet, in these times, we have a federal government that's very much out there on the left and about spending. When in fact, the challenge for Canada is about economic growth and putting more money in the pockets of Canadians. That's a challenge that we face. In this leadership race, one of the key issues is the unity of the country. The country has never been more divided and more balkanized. We need to have a national Conservative Party able to bridge East and West, able to unite the country. But to do that first, we need to unite the party. And to unite the party means reaching out to every part of Canada. And that includes Ontario. It includes to the communities that make up this extraordinary country of ours. Every one of them. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not running as a hyphenated conservative. Neither do I believe in hyphenated Canadians. We are all Canadians. And I'm running as a conservative who believes in fiscal conservatism. I believe in a market-based economy. I believe in policies that promote economic growth so that people will have more money in their pockets, whether families or individuals. I believe in supporting families. I believe in the rule of law and law and order, which is a key issue for every Canadian. On that issue itself, there's a very real difference between Mr. Poilievre, who supported the blockades, which had a very damaging effect on our economy and even the reputation of Canada abroad. Well, I don't think you can make laws and change laws and break laws. And I don't think a person who wants to be a leader of a party or a prime minister, the chief legislator of the country, can actually say to other Canadians, well, respect the laws I make, but I'll pick and choose the ones that I like. The laws of our country are not a buffet table, and it's not dim sum from which we choose from every plate. It is fundamentally laws that we all need to respect, and if you're a legislator, you need to give the example in that respect. One of the things about the Conservative Party that's key is our approach to how our federal system works in our country. We are the party that understands how the federal system works and able to make it work effectively for every part of Canada. And as someone who has been premier of a province, I think it would be a breath of fresh air in Ottawa to have a prime minister who has that experience of making our federal system work. And also in the end, if the Conservative Party of Canada is going to be successful in the GTA, we need to reach out to all communities. Now, we've had 3 consecutive defeats: 2015, 2019, 2021. It isn't so much that Mr. Trudeau has won the campaigns, we lost them. And we started losing them in 2015 by sending a very bad message to Canadians, or new Canadians. That message was that we're watching you, when in fact the message we need to send to every new Canadian and families is that this is your country. You are part of the family, and we cherish your citizenship and want you to build our country. And that is also true for Canadians of Chinese origin, whatever the circumstances. And so that's the reason why I wanted to meet with you today, and thank you for hosting me, so that we could talk about this leadership race in the future of the country.
Joseph?
Okay, I'm
Toronto
Joseph.
TV.
Joseph.
I'm Joseph from Toronto TV. I know you because I immigrated in Canada in 1991.
Ah,
Okay. So my question is that Prime Minister is the top job in Canadian politics.
yes.
Every politician wants this job. Okay. So my question is that I believe that you are not wanting to win the leadership, you want to win the federal election.
Yes.
Right? So will you be able to counter or win over the Liberal NDP coalition right now? Otherwise it will last for 10, 20 years for the same coalition.
Well, there you go. And Joseph, your question is very relevant, because in the last campaign, it isn't so much that Mr. Trudeau won the campaign, it's that the Conservatives lost the campaign. Here Mr. Trudeau the last campaign admittedly was unusual. I'm not sure what the campaign was about, what was decided. And usually election campaigns are about making a decision on the orientation or the future of the country. So we ended up exactly where we started. Mr. Trudeau has the lowest percentage of support, I think, in the history to form a government at around 31%. And the Conservatives gave them the campaign away. And one of the reasons why Mr. Trudeau was able to maintain himself in government is because of these ridings here, because of the GTA. The Conservatives had only 2 ridings in the GTA. 2. Why? Well, it's because it lacks support among Canadians, and new Canadians in particular. New Canadians who did not feel they were being included in the Conservative vision for the future of the country. That will change. Under my leadership, that will change in a real way. I believe in the future of this country, and I believe in a future in which immigration will play a critical role. I would put a very strong emphasis on recruiting talent from all over the world. That includes researchers and professionals and people of trades, people even non-skilled there, because they are the people we need in this country to continue to build and grow the country. And one of the things that I would address is the recognition of qualifications, of skills, of diplomas, which I did previously when we did an agreement with France. You know, Quebec and France did a very forward-looking agreement, where if you're a doctor in France, you're a doctor in Quebec, an engineer in Quebec, an engineer in France. These are the things that we need to address. And if Canada gets that right, Joseph, we will be among the leading countries in the world. That is what will allow us to increase productivity, to increase economic growth, to be able to deal with the critical shortages of labor that we have in this country right now that have become a brake, literally, on our ability to grow our economy. So Joseph, this is a challenge for the Conservative leader and the next Conservative leader. And the question is, who is best positioned to unite the party, to bring in all Canadians, whether it's the island of Montreal, the lower mainland of British Columbia, or the GTA, and who's in the best position to win against this Liberal and NDP coalition on the left, which is a very leftist government, all about spending, which is, you know, we understand in COVID we had to spend, but we also understand that the economic health of the country depends on our ability to clean up our balance sheet and to be able to return to balanced budgets, do it in an orderly way, and in a way that will allow us to grow our economy.
My last question?
Joseph,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Okay. So in the last election, almost all Chinese candidates lost the election.
Yes.
So our community are very disappointed. So because we have less representation in local parliament now. So my question is that, will you willing or able to help to change the situation, to help more Chinese candidates to win the next election?
Well, the first thing that I will do is get members of the Conservative Party, candidates of the Conservative Party of Canada elected in the GTA, which wasn't the case the last time. We cannot hope to form a government if we're not able to get support of the people of the GTA or the lower mainland of British Columbia. I mean, we just can't get support. And that support means support for Canadians who are of Chinese origin, new Canadians. And yes, we should be actively searching out leaders in that community who would be candidates for us and who would run and who espouse conservative values. That is part of what the leadership, and that depends on the leader of the party. That's the job of the leader, to do that. And the job of the leader, once chosen, which is on the 10th of September, and that's what I count on doing, is to unite that party, to work with the caucus and the candidates, and prepare for a national election campaign that we will win. And winning means having representation of all communities within our party. They all have to feel welcome and know that this is their home. So Joseph, that's something I'm committing to. That's something I want.
Thank you. Just let you know that some members of our community are planning to run the meet and greet with all candidates for Chinese community.
Ah, good.
Once we have that fixed up election. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So this will be more informal.